Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm about to jump or something, or metaphorically.
So you have something that you're specifically thinking about?
Not really on my mind. I know what I want to talk about, like in general, but it's like I'm just thinking about how I hopped in my car. I wanted to get some food, and so I was kind of in a rush, and it propelled me. And so I'd like to let you know I have enough energy to, like, I guess, apply myself this time. I could have. See, the way I have to be very a little bit slower with how I process my thoughts, so that I'm not rushing. But from a younger age, I've realized the need to the fight. Life is a fight. As a male myself, motivation has always been a topic growing up. And I learned that you actually have to apply yourself to get ahead in this world. Like, I learned, I guess, over the years, I didn't realize that I matured to learn how if you don't apply yourself, and if you stay passive, nothing's gonna happen. And you have to, like, take it by the horn.
How'd you learn that?
I don't know, but I'm blessed to know that I did. Because I know a lot of people don't understand that concept. And so I guess I'm half balanced on both sides of the spectrum, where young people like myself at my age kind of just give up. They stay super passive. They feel like they're losing and they can't get ahead at all, and they just can't do it, so they give up. And, like, some common phrases is like, I don't know, I see it on TikTok, and if I could take a second to think about what they say, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of vague, but they talk about how it's not too late. My generation is very malleable, and so I think we're on both sides, optimistic and pessimistic at the same time. And I've noticed the younger people are, the more on the negative side they are, because they didn't have a natural upbringing from older times. It's kind of like when my dad used to tell me when I was real young, you used to leave doors open and it would be okay, and people would just leave their doors open, and then now everything has to be closed, and, like, so that's kind of as a little placemaker where I'm putting things. But no, to be honest, I feel like I'm losing at this point.
Like you're losing.
Yeah. I'm in a losing phase right now, and
why do you think that is?
I'm reminded what it's like as I've been coming back from the hospital 9 months ago, since January, to just stay in here. And it's about jobs, it's about work, but so I guess that's something that I'm gonna have to tackle in this conversation.
So not work. Have you not been working all this? Yeah. Okay. So sounds like that's had an impact.
It's like, it definitely has an impact, and it doubles the trajectory of understanding.
Yeah.
And so that's why it connects to the motivation thing and the drive thing. And I just can't find a pace where I can drive myself and stay consistent. It's just, it's. I guess I'm gonna have to face my forms of depression in this conversation for a little bit. Um, I think it is depression. Um, but my depression is different. It's like me. It has to do with things being enjoyable. Things are just not enjoyable,
Feeling kind of,
and so
yeah.
yeah,
So feeling kind of like flat. Things are flattened a little bit.
mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like I can never show that color talking with someone face to face. It's a whole different. Since I've been out here, it's like a whole different world. It's a whole different environment. Like it's a whole different perception, and I don't know why it's like that. Like I'm a completely different person inside. It's like more boring. Maybe because I'm not applying my true character and expressing myself and using my traits for uh, productive, you know, productive factors.
Yeah.
And I guess a big hanger on that is that I think it's because I am not utilizing myself.
Yeah. I hear you. So it sounds like you're not having as much, maybe even as much to do, like not as much to do outside of the house that's productive and engaging you and getting challenged and productive, and then not feel, and as a result maybe feeling kind of flat and depressed.
Yeah.
Does that get it?
Yeah.
You're smiling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And any other things that you're noticing in terms of the depression? Because it makes sense to me. You talked about feeling really satisfied to be working when you're working, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe not having that is going to be.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you angled it. You angled it perfectly for me to respond, and it's like I feel like jobs are kind of like a reward, um, like this rare thing that I can't attain, and then when I'm in it, it's like such a blessing, and then I lose it, and I feel like I'm gonna have to fail quite a few times to get to the point where I can sustain over 20 an hour and be able to live in an apartment. I've done the math. I don't think it's that hard. I think what's hard is the work itself. But I think less linear. I just my mind doesn't really drift, but it's like instead of thinking of all these things, I'll think about how I got in the car and I was in a rush, and um, it was almost like it reminding me subliminally testing myself on how good I can drive, and I see a lot of improvement.
That's good. So that's
Yeah.
something that you've been doing that's productive, is you've been getting more experience driving as a licensed driver.
Yeah, it's almost been a month. I've been doing it every day, driving every day straight, and I think about the progress isn't enough. It's like it's only a month, but it's like depends on how much work. I mean, you get what you put in. I think that's clearly evident for a lot of people. I think it's common sense. You definitely get what you put in. And so it's like I could have decided to be like, oh, Julie, I feel so depressed, and I haven't I been through that so many times over years, and it's like I feel like I would be doing a disservice to just give up in session. So I decided to pick myself up and apply myself right now. And it's not the hardest thing, and I know that's the right decision.
Yeah. That sounds like you're using some of what you've learned. Yeah. So, are you interested in getting another job?
I told myself I've learned how to stick with things, and so I'll stick with security. I'm not gonna. I think it would be a bad idea at this time to definitely drift away and fulfill different endeavors. It's just definitely about media and security. Those are the two paths that I'm following. Film comes to mind for some reason, but I chose music over film a long time ago, and I'm also thinking. I watched so many different music videos, and I guess I'm juggling things. And I advanced my record label Um, it's existed for 4.5 years now, and I like the challenge behind the progression because it's like I've only been in this industry for a few years, like actually into it, and I guess it started with the label, and I look at music videos and I tell myself there's something like a taste that I have where I don't follow the vision of, and I feel like I could have my own vision, and like it's not what I'm looking for 95% of the time. And it's kind of like Gordon Ramsay with cooking. Huge critic, like, and super to the book of like if it's good or not, and like super. That's where my perfectionism goes into. But I just still feel like I'm losing. But I don't know if it's wrong mentality. I just don't know how to um, put myself in the trajectory. I don't know how to place myself. To be honest, in music and everything, everything going on. To be honest, I talked to Lizette. It's not.
I know you came to the office, right? And you talked to her. Yeah, I saw you there.
It's not. It's not mature enough for me. I'm not in the right mentality these days when I'm talking with her. So I'm really attempting to utilize this time very carefully. So because it brings out more mature aspects out of me.
I wonder how. Yeah, I wonder how it could be. I could be most helpful to you right now. Like some of the questions that are occurring to me are kind of, what kind of things are you thinking about doing in terms of trying to get another job? Is that
alternative
alternative
thought, side thought? But
like apply? Are you applying? I know you'd mentioned last time we met that your dad had some connection to your job.
I asked Lizette. That was a dead end.
Okay.
I don't want to go in the process. I tell myself maybe I'm just not ready. The way I see it is like this is the best opportunity for me to recuperate and truly understand what it's like before, because I think the next time that I go in, I might go in for some time, and I won't get another chance like this. But I don't want to go in the process of getting another company. Mike texted me yesterday. That's my boss.
That's the boss?
Yeah, I haven't said. Mike, I know a lot of Mikes. And he's offering to work at the A's game, but it's not the right scene for me. It's south of Oakland, so it's like I don't want to bother commuting that far every time. It's just I'm not feeling it. I just don't want to.
That's not what you're interested in.
Yeah, and you would put me in San Francisco. I said San Francisco. It's not for me either. I don't want to go back there, and I don't want to commute that far.
That's really far.
The third option, it is. Well, the third option is really, really far. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but like 30 to 40 miles, 6 to 6. It's 12-hour. He gave me a full-time 60-hour. Wow. I could either see that as a blessing or as like.
Where would it be?
It's really down south.
I don't know. Milpitas or San Jose or something.
Was it Modesto or something, or Riverside? Not Riverside.
Okay.
Riverside's
all right,
LA.
far away.
Yeah.
So that's that sounds exhausting. To drive that far. I'm just putting in my 2 cents. I'm just getting out of the sun a little bit. To drive that far and then for a really long shift, and then have to drive all the way back.
It's either a really nice blessing or some colloquial terms.
Something that I'm noticing is that it sounds like you are picking and choosing, and that's that you have good reasons for why you haven't jumped on those things.
I'm glad I'm not desperate.
Yeah.
Some people would need to survive and take anything. And they wouldn't mind the commute. I'm not looking to take any type of work. I think I value myself enough, but I told myself, I think it's very evident that I'm losing. My win-loss ratio is like 7-3.
7-3.
Yeah, I thought about it before.
7 on the loss side and 3 on
Oh
the
no,
win side.
7 on the win side.
On the win side, okay. Well, then you're winning so far.
I guess, but 7-3, 3 out of 7 times, I suppose I lose. 7 out of 10 times versus 3 out of 10 times. Yeah, out of 10. I don't know where to go. In terms of verbally in the discussion and expression, like I don't know how to tap into myself. I come back here and I'm like, I can't find joy out of what I'm doing. It's just very monotonous, depressing.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of, and you're by yourself a lot of the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think that has anything to do with it?
It definitely is loneliness. Being alone. I definitely am alone. And the universe tells me, oh, well, I'm not really ever alone when I'm on my phone and I'm on media all the time. And the universe tells me, like, there comes a time where I'm going to have to, I think I've definitely understood what it means to be alone a lot. I don't think I need to pursue that more deeply. But the universe is telling me definitely, I see signs that tell me I'm going to have to learn how to be comfortable with being alone. And, that's fine with me, but I tell myself, I know my limits when I overdo something. Like, over years, I think I've overdone learning. I learned only like a year ago. I think that's like a cat or something.
Okay.
How to be with everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a cat. I see it. It just went to the other side of the street.
Okay.
It's learning how to be with people, and it's better to be together with people than do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the past year in 2021, I do everything with everyone. Everything that I do, I try and not perform alone. And I guess that's where my old soul comes from. I think about numbers a lot, and 1 means unification, and 2 is like detachment. And people who are younger are born in the 2000s, and they're not unified. I don't know why I'm the only one who pays attention to the numbers, but it's very evident. It's like maybe it's a belief thing about these. Maybe some people don't have faith in the numbers. I've come to understand that numbers are actually very real. They actually do mean a lot of things, and it's not like it's like math. It's like the numbers mean something. It's not. It's like science, and I understand the discrepancies between science and faith. It's like I am a faith person, but I've come to understand that this world is has to be very factual and left side oriented and scientific, and so I'm playing with dualities.
How do you organize your days when you don't have work? You don't.
I'm experiencing a lot of madness, a lot of artist madness, a lot of damage, a lot of I listed it down in some notes. It's the only note that I've taken, and it's withdrawal. And I definitely am not acting at all how I've been feeling over these past days. It's like a withdrawal thing. I haven't been taking the aripiprazole, and I think I'm in withdrawal with that. It's very terrible.
That one is for what?
I think it's for the schizophrenia.
And why aren't you taking it?
Because I don't want to gain more weight. I'm taking supplements to reduce my weight. And I tell myself, I've done this before with something called Burn. It's like, then it had caffeine in it. And I said, give myself a month or 2. just deal with this self image for 1 or 2 months and then it'll stop. But it didn't work. So I'm doing it again. And I tell myself I won't be in the self image for too long, but it's also because I want to not feel like a zombie, and I want to be in touch with who I truly am.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the benztropine now, and I'm taking the injection for 200 milligrams, like we've said before. But there are see, now this is more like tangible things I can make points upon. Is that it's very distinct what the lack of the medication is doing.
What do you notice?
Yeah, I notice, like I can notice it physically, mentally, in my head. It's like a splinter in your head psychologically. Like you can feel it, and it feels like a form of stress.
So without it, you feel more stress, or you feel the stress with it?
I don't feel like it changes my stress levels. I just feel like I'm suffering a lot of massive withdrawal.
So you're feeling some mal-effects of going.
Yeah, I'm not feeling like myself, not like normal.
Are you sure that that's the one that contributes to your weight gain? Did your doctor explain?
Yeah, I'm pretty probably, because what else could it be? The benztropine is only 1 milligram, and it's for like. They've given me different definitions for what it's for. They've told me before it's for bipolar, and then they told me it's for. So I keep learning new angles to it, and they tell me it's for the tremor. I actually haven't had to use the medication.
Benztropine. Yeah, that sounds like it is for the tremor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, and I gotta always say that, but if I say anything about medication, that's kind of, because you don't want to be outside of your scope of practice, but in my experience, that rings a bell as a side effect medication.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't need it starts with an N. For the tremor, I actually haven't had to use anything for the tremor. I just went away.
Right.
For the benztropine, probably is fixing it. It's barely there now. So
that's good. So that was helpful.
Yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I'm drowning overall.
You think it might be good to talk to your doctor about what you're experiencing and the change?
I feel like it's a lost cause.
That's a lost cause. You kind of give up on your doctor.
I don't give up on people.
I'm sorry. That was my words. So that sounds like that's not the right one. It sounds like you're pessimistic that it would be productive.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's never come to my mind this whole time, even talking to my doctor. I see him in a couple of days, I think.
Okay. So you're going to see him in a couple of days. You can ask, you can let him know. I mean, he'll ask you. And
it'll probably be like, I don't know, I feel like the solution, I feel like it's a lost cause. Like I just said a few seconds ago, I feel like, that's my own words, it's a lost cause, because it probably told me, get back on the medication, or I'd try a new medication. I don't want to try a new medication.
You don't want to try a new one?
I just want to stop. And I just want to stop and be normal again. And I went through withdrawal a lot. I've done cold turkey a lot. I'm glad I haven't done, I even hate to say it, but like done drugs.
When you talk about stopping, you're talking about this man in particular, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've used a lot of marijuana, but I'm very serious about staying away from drugs. I would never do that shit. I'd never do heroin. I'd never do meth. Some people normalize cocaine even in high school. I said, no, I'm never going to do that shit. It's just because once I do it, I'll probably get lost in it, and like one time will define many times. And like some people can just do it once, just experiment. I don't experiment. Experimentation is just not for me. I'm not strong enough to experiment.
Staying safe.
Yeah, staying safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like
That's like the only way I do
Right.
Stay safe.
and
Like,
given what you've experienced to this point, some of the symptoms, I think it's really important to take care of your brain
yeah,
in every way.
on a scale of 10, I'd say it's maybe on the withdrawals like 8.
An 8. An 8 in
So
difficulty.
yeah, it's not the worst,
Yeah.
but it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
And I fear I have a positive. I have hope. I tell myself it won't be too long until it'll just stop. It'll just go away.
So you think
That's
it'll
just
be
what I
easier
tell
after a
myself.
while?
It's like those people with vaccines and they're like, I got a strong enough immune system. I'll like it's some type of approach that's very non to the book that I relate with, that I understand, and it's like it's kind of like dropping out of college. It's kind of like it'll go away.
Do you think it would be helpful to kind of track what you're experiencing day to day as you go off of it?
I feel like it's the best way to explain it is a pattern manifestation reality thing, and it's like you keep doing it over and over. You tell yourself, Julie, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. You're just gonna stay depressed. I had to break out of that weak habit. I had that weak mentality. So I have a strong mind, but if a strong-minded person is going through withdrawal, is not feeling well, and feels like he's losing, then there's something serious about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're feeling that heavily. You are in touch with kind of a part of you that can kind of push through, or that wants
By myself.
Yeah.
But it never ends up well. I need people like a therapist. I need people like you. And YJ said before, I'm glad that I'm glad that you have someone that you can rely on, but I don't rely on anyone.
You don't.
That's the difference with me. I never understood what she meant by that. I don't think that I rely on people. I think that I need people, but I don't rely on them. I can't rely on people. I wouldn't want people to rely on me. I guess it's like an independence, freedom thing. But that's where I'm at.
One of the questions I ask anybody that I work with who talks about feeling depressed is whether you have any thoughts of hurting yourself.
Oh. It's some type of ideation. Is always just a dark period. It's like it's somehow always ends up sliding into the conversation, sliding into the psychology. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But that I'm not worried about.
You're not worried about that. So
I'm not worried about
really...
it. But it is dark. I don't tell myself I want to, or I'm going to, or I feel like doing this. It's kind of more like the best way to explain it is like, what if? You know, like what if that happened? You know, like why am I the only person feeling this way? And like, what would it be like to think that it's the most impossible thing that could be possible? It's that possibility thing. It's like what? So it's like I know I'm not in, it's very necessary for a therapist to know that if he's in the red zone. I'm not in the red zone.
Yeah. Okay. And you would, and you could let me know if you did start to feel like you're more in the red zone. Like if you started having, instead of like what if thoughts, like this is what I could do, and like started to think that would be more. You could let me know.
For some reason, I never have.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
It is. I never crossed the line. I never got serious about it. I just get imaginative with it, and it's like it has to do with the artist.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
There's not really any. Once I have the scope and sphere around what's happening in my psychology, my reality, there's not really too many alternative realities that I'm living in. So that's kind of like the core.
So I see that you got food. You're eating okay?
No.
You're not. You're eating. Well, what do you mean by that? Like maybe not eating healthy?
I don't see options for healthy organic. Like
Okay.
fast food is.
That could also be contributing to the weight gain.
Of course, it's dispensable is kind of like the word I was looking for. It was like it's not expensive.
I know we had talked about. I mean, and I know this is not like something you can solve in a moment, but
Sure.
like about like getting a small fridge and a microwave, and you could.
I went to Target and I
Did you
looked
go?
at I looked at the microwaves and the toasters.
All right, you're starting to look at least, because honestly, that's a way you could eat somewhat healthier. I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be. Well, you could get salads too. You could get like lettuce and make salads and stuff, and fresh fruit and vegetables, and you can get some good frozen meals that are fairly healthy, that are going to be a lot better for you than fast food.
Yeah, if I would mirror myself, I probably am the one who overanalyzes weight instead of the other person, like overanalyze. And it's like, if I'm not, I'm using a philosophy where if I don't need to do something, I'm not going to do it. Like if I don't feel hungry, I'm not going to get something to eat. And I'll be completely honest with you, it's unfair.
What's unfair?
The amount I'm eating.
Yeah.
That everyone eats, and I have to be the one in the scorn of having that weight gain.
Yeah. Well.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But for Christ's sake, I'm having a cheeseburger like every day to every other day, and I had to stop. And then I realized that was my worst. I haven't in forever, and like I tell myself, I've never been in this zone, but I've been in this zone with food where it's like it's never been that bad. And I can never just let myself go. And I naturally just stopped since the beginning of this week. I kind of halted and braked everything.
So you're eating things that you find a little healthier then?
Not healthier, but just nipping the unhealthy first, I guess, is the best way to start.
Yeah, because it's not just about weight, it's also health. Like that's another way to focus it. It's like what's good for your body, regardless of whether you're big or smaller.
There's something about it. It's like nipping it. Yeah, I think it's a matter of how much instead of what is it. I take the mental, psychological stuff a lot more seriously, to be honest with you at this point. Like, but your body is your mind.
Yeah, that's what immediately jumped into my mind. Like, yeah, you can influence your energy.
So it's kind of like playing off of each other. But yeah. I just hope that whatever happens, that you have options that are healthy for you. And that's something that, and I don't want to, it's obviously you got to make your own decisions, you're grown up, but that's something that Lisette could support. Like if you wanted to like try to figure out how to do something that with meals that was meal plan
sustainable for you. Yeah. And,
I'm just ready to zoom out.
Okay. What does you mean zoom out?
Well, how much time?
We have let's see, we have about 18 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
That's good.
What do you mean by zoom out?
Well, now it's like the world is your oyster. Like you can do anything. You can say anything. You can talk about anything. It's like a huge canvas. It's very interesting for me as an artist's mind. But I don't know. I've been stricken with so much trauma and withdrawal that I can't, and drowning, that I don't really think about other things. I emailed my I almost feel like saying ex now, like my wife's manager. I told him, look, this is where I'm at, and the last time you heard from me, I didn't tell him this, but in the backstory, last time you heard from me, I was trying to get Amber's address in LA. and she made a song. She was like, I don't know, the timeline doesn't make sense, but there's like, following that girl was the dumbest shit I've ever done, and like, but she would make songs about, she released something on Valentine's Day that clearly is about me, and that's when I realized, okay, you opened up enough for me to realize that you do see me as part of your reality, but at the same time, I don't pursue it. I'm very careful with that chick in particular because it's a wreck.
Did you exchange messages? Is that
No,
no?
I haven't.
So you never
stopped.
talked directly?
If I comment on her page, she'll acknowledge it and she'll react, but that's what
That's all.
that's what she wants.
Mhm.
That's what she wants me to do, and so I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I emailed her manager, and I'm glad. I think I won in a way because he didn't respond back.
Uh-huh.
The first time he did respond, so he knows that I sent something, but these little small, and that's, I feel like I'm losing, because Sway Lee made a song saying, I'm checking up on it, my ex, to make sure she's not doing better than me.
That sounds like an understandable impulse from someone that had broken up with someone.
But
Yeah.
what? There is no this is very silly to me.
Yeah.
You could call it an internet relationship, but it's more than that. But it's like, it's not real enough for me. I don't think it's real enough for any of us. And it's
Sounds like you
this
never met her in person.
I have.
You have? When did you meet her in person?
At a nightclub.
Oh, I see.
It's funny because even back then, even back then I was feeling like not confident about myself. The only difference is that I know how to apply myself now, and I know who I am, and I don't let my self-esteem consume me or negate me and destroy me. But it's funny because she specifically turned. I haven't told you this story.
No, is that how this started? Is that how you met her? Was that a nightclub or? Was
yeah.
I see.
It started in April of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we were married was because God showed me a vision that day. I don't know how to explain it, but I can't see things like that anymore. But there was a vision, like an actual vision that was shown to me, where we just some type of marriage happened in heaven, and it came back down here, and it connected with me spiritually. And ever since then, we kind of just knew. And then over the years, I had to prove to her through my delusion that this was real, and it's such a complicated but deep relationship, but I guess ultimately the delusion changed into belief and faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why whenever I talk about marriage, it's it's a good topic to talk about, to end off on. It's the reason why I talk about marriage is because when I talk about marriage, it's very I tell people it's the most personal thing to talk about for me, because it's a difficult subject, because even I don't understand what I saw that day when I was shown that in my bedroom, and it had to do with Instagram, and it had to do with seeing something. I just can't understand it. It's past words.
You use the word delusion too.
Yeah,
it must be hard to know. Like, those are two different things. Like something spiritual and something delusional.
This stems one of my deepest roots with therapists. My first therapist was Emma, and I told her this, and I was documented, believes he, it says in the spreadsheet, the first page, like I reviewed, which is why it was always painful when I brought that up with you, about the first thing that I saw, and it was like, thinks that he's working with famous people, or he knows people from music videos. And it's funny because it switched around. and it actually became real because I was mentioned in these music videos, and I kind of
mentioned by name.
Yeah, pretty much, and energy, name and energy, and I think delusion is something I worked hard to obliterate out of my reality. I started, start to believe something so much that it happens, as the phrase goes. Tell yourself the same thing over and over again. They start to believe it.
I believe that.
Yeah, phrase.
There's a lot to that too. Like you can. Yeah, I mean, I think that we can influence ourselves with our thoughts for sure.
And one thing that's easy to know is perception is reality. So it's like I just go with that, and it's like it's just what I choose to believe in.
Yeah.
And she believes it, but right now it's like I'm single as fuck, and I'm like, okay, give her that space and let go, unfollow her, don't do anything with her, don't comment, don't do anything. And she's having a good time DJing, and she has this friend Maggie from Britain, I guess, like her new friend ever since the past maybe 6 months. Like she's really happy, but there's one thing that I know that makes me, the best way to explain it is I guess encourage myself to not look so lowly, is that I know for a fact when someone displays, especially on social media, when someone displays that they're super happy, they're not actually that happy. And they actually could be very, very sad.
It's a mask sometimes.
Yes, because I know that myself, and I come to find like 9 times out of 10, someone who's always happy is not actually that happy. And it actually is the opposite. It's like comedians, like the funniest comedians are some of the most depressed people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's like, after all of this, it's like, yeah, I proved to myself that I don't believe in the depression, because it doesn't sound like depression right now. Does it sound like I'm losing? Maybe a little bit. Does it sound like I'm depressed? A little bit. But I can't put myself in that direction of like encompassing it. I guess I grew out of like having an emotional reality define me. I kind of like pass the obstacle and just stick in with it.
Our church, it's a week. Okay. Where do you go?
Yeah.
You go that.
The only church, I guess, high school.
Okay.
Church. Friend to me. Hey, fuck that.
So this is there. Yeah. Okay.
You're back. Can't me coming down. What's the phrase for having your turn to me? And you did it a pride, or as I remember, that I around can't park. Know what for him to get into things.